How you doing? Duff here. This is my FlashForge Creator 5 Pro. I have about 200 hours of printing on this printer, and I am going to be giving you my thoughts, primarily comparing it to what is the primary printer in this space right now, the Snapmaker U1, which is sitting right over there. Give you my thoughts, but if you want my quick summary of the FlashForge Creator 5 Pro, yeah, let me tell you more about it. All right, let's remove the top hat, which I don't print with all that often. I just had it on recently and I just left it on. Those of you that aren't aware, if you want to print without the top hat and you don't want to get annoyed by a message on the screen saying cover missing or top cover missing, you can put a magnet right here. I got a little magnet secured with painter's tape that will stop that message from happening. Okay, for those of you not familiar with the FlashForge Creator 5 and Creator 5 Pro, FlashForge released two versions of this printer. The Creator 5, which is an open printer, has no front door, has no top cover, has no heated chamber. Otherwise, it's pretty darn similar. Then you have the Creator 5 Pro, which is what I opted for, which is, was it $849? Is that correct? And I think the regular Creator 5 is either $649 or $699. So they're both competitively priced. But like I said, with the Creator 5 Pro, you do have things like a door and the top. So a lot of this stuff, the main difference with the Creator 5 Pro is the enclosed build space, which allows, it has a heated chamber, which allows you to print high temperature filaments, ASA, ABS, stuff like that. So if you're into those types of filaments, the Creator 5 Pro would make sense for you. I really don't print with much other than PLA and TPU most of the time. So in retrospect, I could have gotten away with just the Creator 5. Creator 5, like the Snapmaker U1, has 4 print heads. The advantage of having multiple print heads is it allows you to have significantly less waste when doing multicolor prints, as well as significantly faster print times, because the time to change between filaments is seconds, less than 10 seconds. I don't know, 5 to 8 seconds, something like that. It's similar on both. They have similar swap times between print heads, and it's been my experience. Print bed, 256 by 256 by 256, like the standard for the Bamboo Lab X1C for a long time. For a long time, this was the standard size print bed. So a little bit smaller than the Snapmaker U1, which is 270 by 270 by 270. The print heads are mounted on the side. That's another difference. Print heads are mounted on the side versus the Snapmaker U1, which has them on the back. I don't know that that's that much of a negative. I guess let me break this down into positives. I'm going to break this into pros and cons, because there are definitely some nice features on the Creator 5 and Creator 5 Pros. Assembly of this printer was pretty easy, albeit with the caveat that getting because they have everything kind of built ahead of time for you. This whole assembly comes already assembled, and you just slide this in here. On the Creator 5 Pros, some people, including myself, have had issues with tolerances getting this installed. I had to actually give it a little bit of help with my hammer to get it all the way seated. Some people have had that problem, some people have not. I've had that problem. But overall, getting the Creator 5 and Creator 5 Pro up is easy. Easier than the Snapmaker U1 for sure. The build process is definitely easier. Print quality on the printer has been fine. I haven't noticed any significant difference in print quality between this printer, my Snapmaker U1, or my Bamboo Lab printers. Print quality on the FlashForge Creator 5 Pro has been good. The loading system, where you have the 4 filament spools hanging out the right side. Some people say it's good, some people say it's bad. It just sits on pegs. There's no motor assist. So in some ways it's good. It allows you to quickly load filament, but there's also some negatives with this setup as well, at least from my experience. But it is simple. And with the cost of this printer, it saves money to not have individual motors for each filament. Reliability, I haven't had anything break, even though there are some people that have definitely had some issues with Creator 5 Pros, which I'll talk about in the cons section. But personally, I have not had any issues with reliability. Nothing has broken on the printer at all after 200 hours of printing. Okay, so there are my major pros. Costs, competitively priced, high quality prints, reliable so far, and those are three very strong points. But to me, the issue is that there's another printer in this space, the Snapmaker U1, that is a direct competitor to it. And since I had the Snapmaker U1 first, a lot of my experience with the FlashForge Creator 5 Pro came with a mindset like, okay, well, in the Snapmaker, you do this, and it seems a little cleaner. So let's talk about some of the cons for me with the FlashForge Creator 5 series. So this filament setup with the spools and the pathway, like I said, in some ways it's a pro, right? It's simple. But from my experience, it's been a little problematic. I had a situation where I had some filament loaded. I could not get it loaded up through here. I didn't have a cutout. I didn't have that particular end of the filament cut at an angle, but I don't normally have to do that. You should do that if you can, but I actually thought that I had something stuck in between here and here because I just could not get filament in there. There's a video on my channel where I was struggling with that. And so this pathway is not the best situation. These fittings are annoying. I think there's a special tool you're supposed to use to take them off. It's not intuitive the way you take them off. Usually righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. To get these off, you actually have to turn it clockwise, not counterclockwise. And again, it's best with a special tool. So why FlashForge decided to go with this type of fitting here for the Bowden tube, I don't really understand because it's a pain in the ass. Another byproduct of their decision to not have motors is the weirdness in certain situations because it doesn't have a motor to push filament in. Like for the first time, I ran a spool empty, and to refill that slot, I had to actually use the cutter, cut it, and then I had to remove the little blue tab here in the collet, pull the tube out here at the head, and then pull out the excess filament that way. And then I would have to go back through the loading process, which is, again, not hard, but not great, where you're manually pushing filament in, down to the cutter, and then you got to squeeze the cutter to push it in a little bit more, and then go through the loading process. So that's not great, at least for me. One thing that got a lot of attention with the FlashForge printers, with the Creator 5 Pro specifically, because they have a heated chamber, which includes fans, some of which are right here. One of the things that FlashForge decided was the way they were going to handle purging, it's definitely not well thought out, was when you load a color, it just shoots a big stream of filament down and it piles up in the bottom. That's the way it was from the factory. And they thought that was okay. Then you have like a bird's nest of purge filament down there you have to grab and pull out. Well, the problem with the Creator 5 Pro was if this chamber heating is active and these fans are working, the way it used to work was the print head was over in front of the fans when it was doing that purge. And if things worked out just right, it could actually suck filament into these fans. So FlashForge's fix for that was to now have the purge happen in the back. So now purge is in the back where there are no fans. So I guess that technically fixes it, but the whole idea of not having a better engineered way to collect the filament from the purge cycle, that kind of is weird. Again, comparing it to the Snapmaker U1, you got a nice little waste collection bin there under the heads, and that's very easy. FlashForge has addressed this further. They released a model, a poop bin, I guess you would call it, a very narrow poop bin that you can mount here to collect that waste, which again is better than what they gave you from the factory, but still not the most well thought out decision. The filament setup here, there's no intelligence with this. Everything is a manual process where you have to, okay, I got to go to the filament screen. Everything's a manual process where you tell it what kind of filament it is and the color. The Snapmaker U1 has the ability, much like the Bamboo Lab printers, to, if you use Snapmaker filament, to read the RFID on the filament, and it can actually detect the filament automatically. So that's kind of nice. I've gotten used to that feature because I'm a Bamboo Lab longtime user as well. So yeah, there is no intelligence with the filament. And this translates into, which I don't really understand, why the slicer, why FlashForge Desktop cannot read any of the filament that you have loaded on the printer. Let me show you. So if you look here, I have this model loaded in the FlashForge Flash Studio Desktop. It doesn't communicate with the printer, even though it does know about the printer. The slicer does not have the ability to read what filament is loaded on the printer. Like the Bamboo Lab printers, you can do a sync and it'll actually do it. That's the cleanest way it's done. On the Snapmaker version of Orca, you just hit this drop down and it will show you what the machine has loaded on it, so you can still select it that way. With FlashForge, you need to go in and manually tell it each time what filament is loaded. So again, not convenient. It works, you know, it works, but not convenient, and I'm kind of spoiled coming from a Bamboo environment and a Snapmaker environment. So there you go. I mean, that's my quick thoughts on the Creator 5 Pro. So it's okay. It's okay. It's not bad. It's not a bad printer. It's priced well. Gets the job done. It's just coming from a Bamboo Lab environment and then my experience with the Snapmaker U1, it makes me appreciate some of the things that those printers have that the FlashForge doesn't, either to save costs or I guess primarily just to keep the cost down. FlashForge decided to not do certain things that I wish that they potentially would have done. But it's not a bad printer. But like if I wanted to add another tool changing printer to my fleet, you know, because I do have a Bamboo Lab P2S that I could potentially, you know, ship out of here if I wanted to. And I had the choice of getting a Creator 5 Pro or another Snapmaker U1. I would get a Snapmaker U1 personally. Bigger build plate, additional features, and the communication with the slicers is better in my opinion. So yeah, that's my feeling. Now, again, if I would have gotten just the Creator 5 and saved myself $150 to $200, maybe that price differential would hold more weight. But the fact that the Creator 5 Pro is very close in price to the Snapmaker U1, with the caveat that the Snapmaker U1 is not enclosed, so out of the box it will not do high temperature filaments. So if that's your thing, then this gets more points if you are into doing high temperature filament. If I do high temperature filaments, I'll do it on one of my Bamboo Lab printers normally. So anyways, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you agree, disagree, why not? I'm always interested in checking out people's thoughts on the technology out here. So hope you found this video interesting. If you did, please think about giving it a big thumbs up. If this is your first time visiting the channel, whether you're watching this on the Duff channel or Duff 3D, which is just 3D printer focused, please think about subscribing. And if you're going to subscribe, you hit the notify bell that's over there somewhere. That'll let you know when new content is posted. And there will be a stream of content that will be going onto all my channels for the Snapmaker U1, the FlashForge Creator 5 Pro, and the Bamboo Lab printers that are off camera right now. So hope you enjoyed the video. That's all I have for now. Until next time, Duffman out. If you're still here, one thing I forgot to mention, even though I have not had hardware problems with the Creator 5 Pro, like I said, people have. I see regular postings of people having blobs of death on certain print heads, and a weird phenomena where the print head actually gets bent somehow. I'm not sure why that's happening, but there's been a lot of cases of that reported with the FlashForge Creator 5 series, but not mine.